Hi everyone, and welcome back to another tutorial. Thank you for joining me. In this week's tutorial, I'm going to paint something as a commission. It's for Malcolm Lawson. This is your painting. Malcolm sent me on a photograph to paint for Christmas, I suppose, and I said, yeah, I'll do a tutorial on this now, and you can see me painting it as well. Wouldn't that be special? So I'm going to paint this. It's a lovely seascape. Well, it's not. It's kind of half a seascape, and there's kind of it's like, oh God, what would you call it? Just around the coast, you know, a coastal kind of a view. When he visited Ireland here recently. So Malcolm, I'm going to paint this for you. I hope it turns out lovely. I am very excited about painting this type of a scene because this is right up my alley. This is what I love to paint, and I can't wait to start it. So look, I'm going to set up my camera here. I'll try and get this done in one part, but probably two parts. So I'll take my time and do it nicely, okay? Just like I do with every tutorial. Take my time and do it nicely. And I'll probably just tip away with it then after the video, just adding little details like I normally would. So yeah, here we go. Malcolm, I hope you like it. Thank you so much again. And it'll be winging its way over to you in the next week or so. And you will have it long before Christmas, definitely. And also there will be tracking. I will send you a tracking number as well once it's posted. And you can track it all the way along this journey over to yourself, okay? So thank you very, very much, Malcolm. I appreciate this. Enjoy the video. Get your paints and your palette and your canvas ready. And this is one you might like, I think. Okay, here we go. Don't go anywhere. Okay, here we go. Now, I have a canvas here. Excuse me. I do have the flu at the moment, so I'm not feeling great. I apologise if I'm coughing throughout the video, okay? But look, we'll get over it. Now, I have a 16 by 20 canvas, primed. I have a sketch done out here. There's a photograph. Isn't that lovely? I think this is beautiful. Now, excuse me. I did increase the saturation just slightly on the photograph, just to bring out those greens a little bit. I think it's much nicer. The original photograph was beautiful, but it was a bit kind of, I suppose it was a dull day and there wasn't much kind of light, so I just increased the saturation a little tiny little bit just to bring out those vibrant colours just a little bit, okay? I think it'll really look nice when it's all finished. So my colours, I have titanium white, Naples yellow, cadmium yellow pale, some phaylo blue, some burnt sienna, burnt umber, some black, some crimson, and cadmium red. And I have a little turpentine here with a little linseed oil in it. That's it. That's pretty much the size of it. So let's crack on. I'm going to dampen my brush. Okay, it's just damp. And the sky now is very subtle. It's a very subtle sky. So I'm going to take some Naples yellow with some white first. And let me see now. Into that I might take a hint of cadmium red. A hint, because there is a lot of light up in this sky, and that light will come down across the water and across the grass here as well. So I want to get that in. I want to get that feeling of the light far off up in the sky, out of view. Do you understand? So I'm going to put that kind of bright mix across there. Now there's a kind of a yellowy tone to this, but that's fine. And it's going to gently turn into a grey. So I'm going to start adding a little hint of crimson to this. Okay, so just a little tiny hint of crimson, just like that. And then I'm going to dampen my brush now because it's a little bit dry. Then I'm going to start adding a little hint of phaylo blue with some white. So it's kind of slowly going over to a sort of a grey tone. Now let me get some more paint on my brush because I have very little paint on my brush here. My brush is quite dry. Little crimson, a little blue, a little bit more crimson. It's a very, very pale, bluey sort of a colour off there in the distance. Now that's still a bit rich for me, so I'm going to clean my brush. I'm just going to dip it into my turpentine and give it a good dry on my tissue. I'll pick up some white then, with a little bit of that blue. And just like that, okay? Now what I'm going to do just here where they meet is I'm going to take some white, okay? And I'm just going to sort of soften that in. Just going around in little circles, softening all these colours together. See? And what I'm going to do then is I'm going to take a little tiny touch of black, so I end up now with a very soft kind of a grey. And I'm going to put that in for the rest of the sky here. Excuse me. There's nothing worse than having a little cough, especially when you're trying to do a video. It just makes life very difficult. Right, so I have this nice kind of soft, subtle sky now in the distance, don't I? And what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to add 1 or 2 little clouds way off, okay? Just 1 or 2. Let me see. In fact, you know what I will do? I'll take some white, a dry brush now, a little touch of blue, and I'm going to just add a little of that here and there. Touch more blue perhaps. I can see a very pale blue way off in the distant sky. Just going to add a little bit of that here and there. Just like so. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little white. I just want to suggest a couple of little clouds here and there, alright? Just a few little clouds off in the distance. Okay, you see? Just like this. Just little hints of them floating along here and there. 1 or 2 around here perhaps. Very gently, look, I'm hardly touching the canvas as I'm doing this. It's very subtle, very subtle. Okay, how's that? Just soften this in just a little bit here and there. And I'm using very little paint on my brush, you see. Only tiny little amounts of paint is all I'm using. Okay, excuse me again. Down already now, we're already onto our water. I think I'll get the water in next actually. And let me take another brush. Let me just kind of clean my brushes here now. They are quite stiff because I didn't clean them properly since a painting I was doing yesterday. So I'm just giving them a good clean here. So down onto the water. And it's basically, the water now is basically a white, very whitey, very grey then as well. So I'm just going to take some. And sometimes, when painting things like this, sometimes simple is best. So I wouldn't try and match colours exactly, if you know what I mean. Just I find just keeping it simple works best sometimes. Now I'm taking some black with some white and some Naples yellow, okay, into that. And that will give me a very soft, really soft kind of a grey. Now I'm going to put that on first and see, just see. Okay, let me see now. A little bit more Naples yellow, I think. You see, Naples yellow is wonderful in the sense that it's very forgiving. Now I'm trying to get this as straight as I can. Naples yellow is a very forgiving colour in that you can use lots of it without having too much effect on your painting. So I always use Naples yellow for every painting I do. There's always Naples yellow on my palette because it does give you some very natural sort of greys, if you know what I mean. Now let's might add a hint of burnt umber into that. So again, I'll just go along and take a little black with some burnt umber and some white, and I might just flick a little bit of that darker shade across here and there. Just remember, this is way off in the distance. You're not going to see too much detail with this, if I can be quite honest. You won't see a whole lot of detail. What you will see is perhaps a hint of the blue coming through as well, just here and there. So I'm picking up some of the blue that I already had, look. And I'm just adding it in here and there. See? Just in this side. There's a bit of that there, I can kind of see it. And one other thing I noticed about the landscape is this line up there, it kind of almost disappears into the sky. It's almost invisible, isn't it? So I just took a tiny bit of white on my brush, and I'm going to just soften that across. And you can even use your finger as well. Kind of soften that across into the sky, look. Now, very simply, so you can see it's almost a misty effect off in the distance, isn't there? That's lovely, I like that. And we do have some very bright tones coming into the water. So I'm thinking perhaps just a little white. And I'm thinking, let me see now, a hint of phthalo blue. This very bright colour in the water, I can see it's a very light bluey sort of colour. I'm just going to, for now, just flick some of that through just here and there. And I can lighten it then as I go as well. Later on, I will add more light to this. So I could probably even add a hint of yellow with white. That would make it nice and bright. But I'm just getting the general kind of colour for now. Okay. Now we'll just leave it at that for a moment. And I'm going to come down now with the rest of this water here. There's not much of it there actually. It is quite bright, if I can be honest. So I might take a hint of Naples yellow with some white. Get that in first, alright. Like so. I might even put a hint of that colour up here. Brighten that right up. Then we have a slightly darker shade coming into the painting. Let me see now. I'll take a hint of cadmium yellow with the black, and I might just bring some of that in, just a little here and there, look. Because it's not all going to be just very bright, is it? There we go, just a hint of it, that's all. Rightio. Now, there is some nice bright bluey effects going on up there. I'm going to take some phthalo blue with a hint of crimson and some white. Now, more blue than red, okay? And I can see up there, there's this lovely kind of mauvey bluey sort of colour going into the painting just around here. I don't know if you can see it or not now, but it's there. I'm just going to soften it across here and there, okay? I can just see it coming in. It's wonderful. It's a really wonderful colour. And then we're moving on to our cliffs. Now, the cliffs are just a very dark kind of a grey with a hint of light. There's a hint of light in these. I'll start with a brown, look. Okay. And I take some black. And I'm going to start painting the cliffs. Now, it sort of comes around like this. And it goes kind of off out. Very sort of misty effect. So I can get the misty effect in just a moment. So I'm just going to, for now, just get the shape of this. Now let's soften this in with our finger, look. Soften it right in. Nice and soft. Looks nice and soft in there. And we have another which comes up like that, comes down. I want to add a touch of white into this now, this colour. Just a little. Because it's quite a soft kind of a colour. And as it comes over, then it gets a little bit darker. So you can see now my brush is quite dry. I'm dragging the colour across. I'm not putting a huge amount of paint on my brush. You don't need it, really. Alright, that looks quite good. Then take a hint of that black. I'm going to put some kind of rocky effects into the water as well. I might add a bit of that dark colour just into one side of the landscape, just bringing it across. You can see that now, can't you? Now I'm going to add a hint of black to some of these, just to make them kind of stand out that little bit more. Alright, and it comes up onto the bank. And now this bank, let me get another brush here. Okay, now this is a nicer brush. This bank now is it's got kind of a pinky grey, kind of a browny colour. I'll try some black with a hint of crimson and a hint of Naples yellow. Let me just try that for now. Okay, a bit more Naples yellow, I think. It's a very sort of, it's difficult to describe the colour. It's sort of a pinky grey. I don't know now if it's just me, but that's what I can see. Kind of a pinky grey kind of a colour going on. Okay, let's just fill this in. This is going to turn out wonderful, I reckon. I'm very excited about this. And let's get some hint of burnt umber on this. Comes across here. Now there's a rock in the middle here, big kind of a rock. Go around that for a moment. Now I'll stop now and just stand back and take a look, just a quick look. And what I might do is, let me actually know what I will do now. I'll just carry on with this just for a moment. With this colour. Follow that all the way down. Okay, I'll just bring this right down here. Just for a moment. And I'm going to just suggest then some kind of pebbly effects with a fan brush. That's what I'm going to do. So what I'll do first is, let me just take a small fan brush, okay? Little fan brush, and I'm going to take some Naples yellow and a little white. First, I'm just going to go along with that, just very, very, very gently, hardly touching the canvas, okay? Going up, just let it disappear off up then into the distance, okay? Just like that. Then I'll come down a little bit like this, and I'll just let it sort of disappear. And then I'm going to paint in just one or two stones myself. Alright? So I'll take a small brush. Let me find a small brush now. I'll start with a dark colour, like a burnt umber and a black, we'll say. And I'm going to just put in first one or two stones. Now I'll go with the rocks here first. There's a couple of nice rocks on that side. It's a lot of fun painting like this. I love this kind of, I love this type of painting. I really do. And let's get a couple up here like that. So you can see how I'm just simplifying everything now. I'm trying to keep it all nice and simple. I'll put in a couple of little rocks here and there like that. It's just, I suppose, to suggest a little detail, that's all. I mean, you're not going to be able to paint every single rock, that's impossible. But it's just to suggest a little detail, that's all. And a couple of little dabs here and there. So you can see it now, coming together slightly. We have another one up here. This is a nice rich dark rock. And it's very pronounced, isn't it? And we go across here, then we have another couple of rocks across there. I'm going to use a slightly bigger flat brush for that. I'll take some burnt umber with little black, and I'll come right over here out of the painting, okay? Excuse me. Now, take the bottom there, comes down like that, doesn't it? And look, you know, it is just an impression. Don't try to paint it exactly as it's on the photograph. That's never going to work. It'll be impossible, I reckon, to paint it exactly like it looks on the photograph. So just try and create a nice impression. That's all I will say. And let's bring a little bit up here then, just to separate that bank again, just a little. Okay, now we have lots of little rocks here and there, lots of dark rocks here and there on this one. Okay, let's just suggest a couple here first, just with the brush like this. And I like to generally work with darks first and then go with lights. So, like for example, I will then take a nice bright mauvey colour. Let's get a nice bright mauve here now. And I'll use that colour then for highlighting. So I have a couple. Now there's a nice little bit of a water showing inside there. Okay. And we have a nice light showing on this one here. And a couple of lights here and there. Just a little more pink, and I'll put a couple of lights on some of these. So you can see now how this mauve is really lifting those rocks, isn't it? And look, I'm just dabbing little lights here and there, just to add little highlights to some of the rocks. Isn't that lovely? Okay, now let's stand back and take a look. Yeah, nice, isn't it? Now we could probably add a bit more to it. So it still looks a little bit on the dark side to me. So I might add a little bit more of that colour. Okay, red with blue and a bit of white. Perhaps even a touch of Naples yellow. Let's just lighten it a little bit more, especially down here, because the light is kind of catching the sand. That beach, the light is sort of catching the beach down around here, and it's giving it that lovely kind of light reflected look. Now I'll clean my brush, take a hint of Naples yellow with white, and I'm just going to add little touches of that. I'm going to soften it, kind of almost soften it into the water as well. Okay, now how's that? Again, worry about the final details later on. All we're trying to do is get this impression of the scene, alright? That's all we're trying to do right now. And I might even lighten it a little bit up higher as well. Little pink and a little white, with a hint of Naples yellow. It's just a little on the dark side for me. There we go. And then just soften together with your finger. Just think all the time you're doing this, just think impression, impression. That's all, okay? Now I'll take a little hint of Naples yellow but white and just add a hint of light, perhaps just to one or two of these up in the distance. I think they would benefit from just a little highlight. Okay, just a hint, and I'll darken this section up here somewhat with a little black. Still a little bit on the light side for me, so I'll just add a little black into it. Okay, now there we go. We should leave this just for now. I will concentrate on our water. In fact, look, you know what you could do? While we're on this section, just for a moment, let's take some white. Let's get some white on my palette here now first, and I'll show you then. Okay, now, a bit of white there. I'll take my palette knife with a little white. Okay? And just go along under here. Add a little, it's kind of a glisten, isn't it? The water is sort of glistening. Scrape it across the canvas and let the canvas surface rub it off. Just like that, look. And we can do the same overhead. Just a little. It's just a hint, that's all. Isn't that lovely? With this lovely sort of lighting effect going on here, which I really like. Now I'm going to move on to the greens and the cliff here. In fact, I'll do the cliff first, will we? Come on, we do the cliff first. Now, I'm just going to simply take some burnt sienna, lots of burnt sienna now, and I'm going to take some burnt umber as well. I'm going to put the colour in first with this colour. There we are. And then we come over to this side here. And I'm pulling down all the time. Now, some burnt umber. Downward strokes all the time because that's the direction of the hill, okay? And that will tell you exactly the shape and the direction of those rocks, okay? Now let me just go in around here, try and keep my lines. Take a bit of black. It gets quite dark in around there. Some burnt umber with some black. Okay, soften it across. And I'll take some black with a little pink for down here. Okay, just like so. And I'll use the same just for around here. Now, I'm going to soften, kind of almost blend this one slightly. Right, I just fixed the window. I just covered the window there with a piece of canvas just to take the glare. I didn't realise the glare was coming in on the palette there all the time until I just looked at the camera. Right, I'm going to add some more light now into this. I'll take some sienna with some yellow. And I'm going to get a nice bright light up in there. Isn't that lovely? That makes a big difference now, don't it? Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, moving on to our lovely greens. And I'm going to start with the greens up here. We have a lovely soft kind of a green up in the distance. It's a lovely cool green, so I'm going to make a cool green now for you. So we take some cadmium yellow, a hint of blue, and a hint of black, just to darken it down slightly. A hint more blue. I'm keeping it more on the bluey side, okay? A hint of Naples yellow, and the hint of Naples yellow just softens it just a little. So it's all kind of merging together now up in the distance there, you see? Then I switch to my bigger brush and I make the same mix there now with my bigger brush. Some phaylo blue, cadmium yellow, a little Naples yellow. So I use the Naples yellow instead of white because white would make it very, very kind of chalky, sort of. So it's going along like that, goes up and then it goes off. I'm adding tiny touches of turpentine as I go. And there we are. Now, kind of, it gets a bit richer, doesn't it? So I'll take a bit more cadmium yellow and a hint of burnt sienna. And that burnt sienna will warm the green just ever so slightly. So that's our first section done off in the distance. And there's even hints of light hitting that. Now each one has a kind of a hint of light hitting it. A hint of a brighty kind of a... The sun is kind of hitting it. So I'm going to make a lighter colour. I'm adding a bit of white into it this time. And I'm just going to suggest a little bit of a lighter colour. Because it's not going to be all just the same green all the way through. The light is going to be hitting the landscape from the sun, creating different shades here and there. See what I mean? Just like that. And in fact, it's a bit darker up on the very, very top. There's a very dark kind of a greeny colour just up here. Like so. How's that? See, that's nice now, isn't it? I'm liking the way now this is looking. I think it's looking very nice so far. I'm very, very happy. Now, I'm going to switch to another brush, a bigger brush, and put in this green here. So I'm just basically going to mix a medium kind of a shade of green for this and paint the whole thing in just that colour, just for now. And then we'd add our lights and darks into it. So that's what I do when I'm painting landscapes like this. I mix a warm, medium kind of a green, okay? Like this. Let's just take a look. Perfect, you see? I'll use that mix then. I'll mix a lot of this now. And I'll paint everything that colour. So a little blue, a little yellow, a little hint of sienna, just to warm it up. And I'll paint everything in this colour. And it rises up there. And let's fill this in now all the way down. I might have to make a few mixes of this. My canvas is a little on the dry side, but it's fine. It's alright. It's not that bad. So you're following me now along, aren't you? Very nice. And I might switch to a bigger brush again, because that small brush will take me hours and hours now trying to paint in all this green. And I'm going to need more turpentine with little linseed oil in it. There we are. Okay. Right. Plenty of turpentine, lots of yellow, lots of blue, and a hint of sienna. That will give us a lovely, rich green. How's that? See, that's much easier now, isn't it? Right across all the way. It's just, I suppose, the blocking in stage, isn't it? That's all. That's all it is. We're blocking in this colour. Now, you get some more yellow on my palette. We go through a lot of paint, don't we? We sure do. Some more yellow, more blue, and as it comes down I might add a hint of black into it because it gets quite darker as it comes down. Okay, so let me try this. Black. That looks black, doesn't it? But then when you add the yellow, it turns into a lovely rich dark green, doesn't it? Black and yellow make a lovely warm green. Just remember that. If you want a cool green, use blue and yellow. If you want a warm green, use black and yellow. Black and yellow will give you a warm green. Okay? No matter how much of each you add together, you will end up still with a warm green, you see? It's nice and warm. Whereas if you add blue to yellow, it's just going to be cold. And it's perfect for distant hills off like that, blue and yellow. But I'm using black and yellow now for this because it's a nice warm vibrant colour. Now there's a lot of cool greens down here as well, and I will add those in. But for now I just want to cover all of this, get this all covered in, so I can start working on it then and getting my shapes and my direction of grass, all that kind of stuff. So this is my priority right now, just getting this covered with a green. So I hope you're enjoying this now, Malcolm, so far. I'm really enjoying this. This is a wonderful landscape to paint. Okay, we have all our green in, don't we? Next, I suppose the next thing to do is to start adding all the different layers. Okay, now I'm going to switch to a smaller brush and I'm going to darken up here first. So let's start with that. I'm going to take some blue, some yellow, and I'll try burnt umber this time. In fact, burnt sienna. Burnt sienna is definitely the warmer colour, isn't it? I just want to go for a nice dark, warm kind of a green. And up here, we have this lovely dark green, which sort of disappears off, like so. And we also have a darker green coming into this one, this field. So just different fields, that's all they are. And it sort of softens down, like so. Then we get a bit more sienna in this mix. So it kind of comes in and softens across into a lighter green. So that's my dark done. Okay. Just sit back now. Keep sitting back and looking. You have to keep sitting back. Okay, that's the most important part of all of this. Now I'm going to get this very dark green I have here. All right. And I'm going to start adding where I think the darks are. So there's a very dark kind of a green coming over like that. And we've another kind of a dark green over here. So you can see what I'm doing now. And we've a lot of dark, there's kind of lots of dark mounds of grass here and there. I'm just getting the general shape of all this dark. Now we have a kind of a line of kind of a walkway which comes across like that. So I'm going to put a lot of dark in there. And this is probably slightly different now to what you might see someone painting. This technique, I'm just getting all the darks in. There, you see? There we go. These darks now will help when I come to use my fan brush or even my large stubby brush. All these darks will help. I'm just getting the general shading of them in, that's all I'm doing. So, I need to get loads more yellow on my palette now. This next part will be important. I need to get lots of paint out. I need more burnt sienna. This is very important. It's a lovely colour. I need sienna. I have some blue already and I have some black. Okay, so we're looking good with that. Now, let me see, what brush will I use? I'm thinking perhaps just a fan brush for now. Let me get the fan brush. Okay, and I'm going to take, now I'm going to get some nice dark colour first. I'm going to mix some nice dark. Some black, now a bit of turpentine in this as well. Some yellow. There we go. Some black again. I want a very dark bluey green over this. It's a very rich green. And let me just go along and create the mound of this first. Okay, just going along, creating the shape of all these nice dark colours. And a couple up here, just kind of turn. So this is a long process now, all of this. It takes time. Okay, so not to worry. Just going along now, I'm just getting all these nice shadowed areas in with this brush. And we have a couple here. And we have a couple along here. Okay, I'll try the flipping technique, kind of flicking it upwards. Okay, and a couple that comes along like this. Now, my next step, I think, let me see now what brushes have I got here. Okay, I could try my medium stubby brush. So a dry brush with some black and some yellow. I'm getting a really, really dark blacky colour here now, okay? And a hint of blue. Now, let's try this. Okay. And you see, the trouble starts then when you have too much paint on your canvas. It's difficult to control the paint. So I'm using very thin kind of mixes. Well, not too thin, but I'm not putting on lots of thick paint on my canvas, okay? Now this is only just the very early stages. I'm getting all the shadowed areas in, that's all I'm doing. So not to worry. If you think it's going to look a bit funny, don't worry. I'm concentrating on darks. It's all about the darks. And if you can get your darks in, everything else will follow. Okay? The lights will really set this off then. Let that kind of gently disappear off. And I'm going to start creating then some of these bright light colours, and I might even try my large stubby brush, because the way it's kind of splayed out, it would give me some nice little flicks of grass, you see. That's what I like about this brush. So let me try it. Let's take some cadmium yellow and a hint of white, perhaps even a hint of blue, just to kind of dull it down slightly. I don't want it too yellowy, do you understand? So we have a nice mix here now. Let's try this and see what happens, okay? Let's come down here. See, it's not bad though, is it? When it gets dark, I'll give it a quick rub, then I pick up more paint. So I'm kind of forming the lights now, you see? I'm forming all the light areas. We have a nice light area here, don't we? Little bit there. And we could even go along around by the edge and just add some nice little flicks of light grass there and there. And we have a very light area along here. I'm just going to dab it here, okay, just because it's really bright. I want to get that nice bright texture just along there. I'll add a little hint of white with a little hint of blue just for that area. Then up here. Coming together now slowly, isn't it? Slowly but surely. Now, let's sit back and take another look at this. Yeah, that's lovely. I'm very happy with this. And okay, let's add more as we go. Go along, adding more of these. I'm going to kind of create the mounds turning down like this, okay? So I'm twisting and flicking my brush. Let me just show you now. I'm kind of flicking and twisting my brush around like this, creating those mounds of colour, okay? And we will be putting some extra darks in then with these as well, so not to worry. Okay, let's back now and have a look. We're getting there slowly. It's all a work in progress, okay? It's all a work in progress. It takes time. See, I'm letting it fade into the darks even as well. Now I'll take a hint of sienna with a hint of yellow. I'm going to add a little warmth here and there as well. And this is only one step. I'll be adding other steps now with the fan brush as well. Okay? So not to worry. Right, let me take a look at this now. Okay, I'm quite happy with this so far. I'm getting the structure of all the shapes and the darks and lights in. That's what I'm actually focusing on right now. So let me get some darks in with this brush. some blue and some black. And I'm just going to come along, add little touches of those, just here and there. You see? Now, it's slowly coming together, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to go with a fan brush now. Let me find a nice soft fan brush now. I need a soft one for this because a hard one won't do. These ones are a little on the hard side. This one is not bad. These can go in the bin actually. I'll throw my old ones in the bin, and this is a nice soft one. I'll try this. Let me see now, you can see everything okay. Yes, you can. Okay, little turpentine. I'll take a little cadmium yellow with a little white. Nice bright whitey colour there now, yes? And let's go up here and add some light to this cliff over here. And in fact, we even might have some going along the edges up there as well. And then it's going to kind of soften off. Okay? Soften off into the distance, you see? I just want to kind of catch a hint of light on the cliffs here and there. Now there's a nice bright kind of a light there as well. I've added a hint of blue into this just to really catch that light. Okay, soften that away, disappears. That's nice, I like that. And we have a nice little row of light coming along here. And this, you see, is creating the direction then of the kind of grass falling over the edge. That's what I'm doing now, I'm just creating that kind of direction. You see? Now let me just sit back a moment, take a look. Always sit back, keep sitting back and looking at the painting from a distance because you won't see it properly otherwise. Okay? If you're up close all the time, you're not going to see it properly. And I'm creating this curve around then. You see where the fence kind of goes around. Now we can do the very same with some of the lights down here. So let's go up like that, creating some of the lights on these grasses, you see. And you can also create the way the mound is turning and going out, you see? So it comes down and goes out. That's lovely. I'm very happy with this so far. Very happy. And I'm going to create some more light around here. You see now how easily it can be done. It's just a matter of adding layers and layers and layers. Try not to make it too complicated for yourself, okay? So now I'm going now with a nice dark colour again. And I'm going to just pick out some of the darks again, you see? Perhaps even add a touch of burnt umber, look, why not? Let's go with some burnt umber as well. Make it nice and rich and green. Couple of nice dark ones here. And the fan brush just gives you that nice rough textured kind of a look, doesn't it? Yes? I'm quite happy with that, that's quite nice. Now, the next step you can do, if you so wish, you can take a long pointy brush and you can put some nice little grasses in just on their own. Yes, what about that? Let's try it. Lots of turpentine, because you're putting thick paint over thick paint, so it's not going to work. You need lots of thin paint to go over this nice thick paint. So let's take some cadmium yellow with a little white, and look, we can just add little flicks. It's just like a suggestion of grass here and there, that's all. See what I mean? Now you can do as much or as little of this as you like. I will probably carry on and do more of this later. But I just kind of want to give you, for the tutorial, I just want to give you a little bit of how to do it, you know what I mean? So just going along like this all the way. Getting some nice little grass. Isn't it lovely? See, I'm just keeping it simple. A few little flicks here and there is more than enough. You can go crazy and put loads in if you like. What I might do is take a hint of sienna with some yellow and just add a little colour. Look, little tiny little dabs of colour here and there. Just to warm it just a little, you see? Just them one or two little hints of colour just warmed it very slightly, didn't it? And perhaps even with your little brush, take some white, and you can even add little white flowers, because you get lots of these wild little flowers over here by the seascapes. You get, and especially by the cliff areas, you get lots of these beautiful little white flowers, and they're all over the place. You see? Just that little hint, I think it makes a big difference. And add some little dots of yellow. Okay, a few little dabs here and there. And doesn't that make it nice and interesting now to look at? I won't go crazy. I don't have to go mad with all of this. Now, what I want to do is take a little burnt umber, just go up here under this and just separate that cliff from the grass. Just a little, okay? There we go. And that's pretty much our green area finished. You can keep going with it if you like. As I said, you can keep adding. By all means, do so if you wish. I will add more to this now later on. I'll add a couple of flicks here and there later. But I'm kind of pressed for time with recording, you see, so I'm trying to kind of go through that as quickly as I can for you. Anyway, that's beautiful, isn't it? I'm very happy with this. Next we have fences, don't we? Fences off in the distance, and I'm going to just take a very dark blacky green for the fences, and that'll tie in nicely with all of this. So it goes way off into the distance, doesn't it? So you look like this, just disappears off, and it follows this kind of road, this route, all the way around, doesn't it? And we get another one here, and as they come closer, they will get thicker and bigger, won't they? And we have another one here. I hope you like this, Malcolm. I hope it's what you thought it would be. I think it's beautiful, I really do. And okay, we have a couple then. They get very kind of thick around here. Another one there. I'll move now to a slightly larger brush, okay? It'll make things a bit easier. Or should I say a slightly thicker kind of a brush. Okay, some burnt umber and some black. And let's go with this one here at a slight angle. And then we have this one here, which comes up through, covers that cliff just there like that. Isn't this wonderful? And we have one more very close up. Now it goes up very high here, but I don't want to go too high with this. I'm thinking around here. Just because of perspective point of view, do you know what I mean? I don't want to go too high with it. It actually comes out of the photograph down at the bottom. So I suppose we'll take it out of the photograph or the painting. So there we are, that's that. Make it slightly wider up on top. Okay, let me stand back and take a look. Now you can see a bit of a glare on this one here. That's because of there's light coming in a window over here and it's kind of glaring on it, but it's just black, it's plain black, alright? I'll show you in a minute now when I'm zooming in at the end of the video. Now I'm just going to take some very dark black and I'm just going to go along down this back edge with some dark black, and we'll do the same for the other ones. So we have a nice dark shadow on one side. Okay, now that will do. Now, another thing I want to do while I have this dark colour, I want to give it a little shadow. Now the shadow will bring this painting to life. Watch this. So each one, a little flick. And you can be kind of up and down as well, because the grass isn't completely flat. And soften it off then with your finger, look. Look at that, isn't that wonderful? And you see now that just brings everything to life, doesn't it? Isn't that brilliant? Which is why I love painting these types of scenes. I absolutely love it. Drag it across with your finger, look at that. We won't have any on this, and I want to create some light on these as well. So I'm thinking I might just take some, let me get some blue. I need a hint of blue now for this. It's going to be a very bright bluey kind of a mauve colour, alright? So let me clean my brush, take a hint of blue, with a hint of white, and a hint of crimson. Okay. And it's going to be very bright. And let me just go along now and hit this one first, okay? So just come down, hit it, kind of pull off. You see? Again, let's go along the top of this one, and let's just go like that. And then each one, just a hint of it. You don't have to do the ones far off, because they're so far away you can't see the lights on any of those. This one in the front, we have a round top on this. Let's go around in circles. Let's take a hint of Naples yellow. And I'm going to actually create some of the timber effect on this one. Okay? Just by pulling it kind of down, flicking it downwards. That's all I'm doing. I could even do the same actually on the other one here that we have, because it's not very far away from us. And I'm going to go with some very bright, strong highlights then, a whitey kind of a yellow, just here and there, look. Just a little. Now, the next thing we have to do is, we have our barbed wire going across, don't we? And I know now you're probably thinking, God, it's going to ruin this, it's going to go right through the painting and it's going to be ruined. But it won't, I promise. I'll just take some very thin watery black and I'm just going to go out of the painting like this. And I'll do the same down here. Now I'll do all this first all the way along, okay? So then we have this one, it goes up to the next one. And this one, we put a slight bend in this one. And then we'll go to the next one. And it almost disappears off, then you don't see it after this. And I'm only putting just a tiny little suggestion of it away off in the distance. Just like that. Now, for the little pointy bits, just add a little flick here and there, look. In fact, a little X. That seems to work fine, doesn't it? A little tiny X. You see? Isn't this wonderful? And it was done easily. There was no very difficult techniques in this now at all. It was just nice, simple, loose techniques. I kept it simple. Now I'll add a little highlight to one or two of these. Just a little tiny, tiny highlight. Okay? And how was that? Now, Malcolm asked me to put a figure, two figures of people standing down in the rocks down there. Himself and his wife, I suppose, standing, looking out at the lovely view. So I'm going to do that. Now, it's tricky because you have to think about the scale. And, you know, they're going to be very far away. But I don't want them kind of disappearing into the painting either. Do you know what I mean? So I'm thinking, let me just stop now and take a look at this. Yeah, alright, I know what to do. Let me take some black and a bit of brown, okay? And I want to go somewhere here, I suppose. Let's just put in 2 carrots. So you can see, that's 1 carrot. Now I'm thinking about the scale again. Can we go a bit higher, a bit bigger? That's 1. And take a Hindenburg sienna. Let's try another one. Okay, there we go. And then we put 2 little dots for the heads. Okay. And a tiny shadow just underneath to sit them down. Now, we could add a little touch of highlight on them, just a little. Where the sunlight in the sky is catching them just that little bit. Now, it might be they might be too small still. What do we think? You see, you have to think about scale with these things. If I make them too big, they might look like it's Land of the Giants. So, I suppose we could go a little bit bigger. They probably are just a bit small, aren't they? Okay, that's that one. And we have another one here. That's better, is it? What do you think? He has his hand around her just like that. Little shadow again, and a little highlight. I'd say maybe a little Naples yellow. There we are. I think that's the job done, don't you? I might, as I do in every painting, add a bird up in the sky. Now I have a bit of dirt just on the sky just there. Let me take that off. What's that? That must have been a flick of paint that went up into the sky. I'll have to fix that now. Let me take a hint of white, just a hint. Soften that out there. Okay. I always put a bird in the sky, especially for a seascape. In fact, a couple of seagulls. How about that? Yeah? Let's take some white and let's put a couple of seagulls. So first of all, with the white, I make a very shallow, bendy kind of a V. Let's put 3. I like to use an odd number when painting stuff like this. And then, with a little black, just on the tips of the wings. And then just underneath them, like their 2 little legs, hanging down. How's that? Let me zoom in and show you what we have done. Isn't this wonderful? 3 seagulls in the sky. And we come across a lovely light up in the sky, you see? Where it's going off, beautiful light colours. I love that sky, it's a beautiful sky. And we come down then, where there's some nice white hitting that ocean. And you can see the rocks. I kept everything nice and simple. Just a very light blue. It's simple, but it works, okay? And down onto our grass. Isn't that wonderful? A nice landscape for Malcolm. Malcolm, I'm very happy with this, how it turned out. I hope you like it. Isn't that wonderful? I'll frame this in a bright white cream frame and I'll post it to you immediately. Okay? You should have it within a week. Normally 4 to 5 days postage from Ireland, okay? Tracking with it. Thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed that, Malcolm. Thank you so much for buying this and commissioning this from me. I'm honoured, I really am. Sending my work off to the States, it's fantastic. So I hope you've enjoyed this as well, for everyone looking and watching. Remember, just keep it nice and simple. Just add little touches here and there. You don't have to go crazy. I will kind of just more fix up little tiny bits here and there. Add a bit more light into the distance perhaps on that green, just a tiny little bit. And perhaps, as I said, a couple more blades of grass, that kind of thing. And that's it. I think that's pretty much a success. I'm very happy with that. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back again next week with another tutorial and happy painting. I'll see you again. God bless you all. Thank you and goodbye.